Prices. There are parts of the Florida housing market that certainly continue to struggle. In fact, new numbers show that the record number of second high rate of homes seriously underwater, almost a third of all homes. In fact, that means the loans exceed the home's value by some 25%. And the numbers are even higher in Lakeland and the Space Coast as well. In fact, nationally, only Nevada has a higher rate, with Las Vegas topping that list. 17% of all the properties in the United States are underwater. Now, when it comes to rent and utilities, experts say they are not supposed to take up more than 30% of a household's income. You've likely heard those numbers before, to be considered what they would consider affordable. That is a goal that is becoming increasingly impossible now for some families to attain. In fact, rent prices, the highest that we've seen in decades as well. Joining us right now to talk more about that is Heather Unger with Lemon Tree Realty. And Heather, good to talk to you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So we've heard this with so many things, and rent's not different. Prices are continuing to tick up, but what people might not realize is you can actually negotiate some of this. Let's talk about that.
You can. With everything in life is negotiable. You have one or two answers you're going to get, a yes or a no. So
right.
it can't hurt to ask, right? So the one thing you want to keep in mind is the person who has the most options or the appearance of the most options has the upper hand. So don't go to your landlord late in the month and say, hey, I know my rent's due next,
right.
in a few days, but I want to negotiate my rent. So that's not going to help you out. But let the landlord know you have options and that you might not be renewing your lease.
Timing and leverage make a big difference.
They do.
For some people out there, they know they're going to rent. What should they consider if you're looking to move into a lease?
If you're looking to move into a lease, you can negotiate with apartment complexes and property management companies. Most people don't think you can, but the hard part is finding out the person who actually makes those decisions. So, you have a leasing agent, you have a leasing manager.
You deal with a lot of people.
You have a lot of people to move through, so it might take a little bit more, but you definitely can negotiate, especially if there's a lot of apartment complexes around where you're going to rent. There's a lot of different options, and they might have a little bit more vacancy. So trying to go to another apartment complex or say, hey, I can go up the road and get the rent $25 cheaper a month is an option when it comes to negotiation.
What about things that we've heard, either whether it's paying up front, doing maintenance work yourself, or even signing a longer-term lease? How do you look at some of those?
Right. So when you're going with a landlord directly with them or a property management company, look for a need that the landlord may have. Maybe they haven't updated the place in a while. Maybe they don't have someone maintaining the grounds. Offer them, hey, I'll cut the lawn, I'll maintain the property if you give me a little bit off the rent. A lot of times that works. Another thing is if you pay a few months up front, you can generally spread it out over a longer time and get your rent down a little bit that way. And lastly, if you basically say, hey, I'm willing to stay here 2 to 3 years if you give me a reduced rent. A lot of landlords are looking for longevity, so they're going to want somebody in there longer, and they're willing to take a little bit less if they know they have a good tenant.
I'm sure like so many consumer comparison issues, finding the right price and finding the price has got to be a big battle here. How can people find out what is kind of the going rate for the prices around where they want to rent?
Renometer is a great website, and it's going to show you the properties around where you're looking to rent. They're going to show you what has rented, what's currently for rent, and they're going to show you the median price for that area. So it's a good website to check out what rents are actually going for in the area.
It's a great idea. I think I would be eliminated on the maintenance part of that. Because you probably have to be good at the maintenance for that.
Yeah.
They might put money back on my rent if I start fixing things.
You want to be a good handyman.
or no one, for sure.
Right, exactly.
Heather, great to see you. Some great tips as well for people looking out there to rent as well. Let's go back to Ann.